I will build the city to accommodate 1 million people, even though I'm starting with zero.
Would you buy land in the desert with hopes of making a fortune decades later?
The space is there, but what's not here is the electricity and some places the water.
This was the vision thousands of people bought into in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
Each one of those sections of town are hundreds and hundreds of different lots owned by hundreds and hundreds of different people. You can, put it on eBay and hope that you get $100 for it.
They bought a piece of a dream that was never going to be.
The dream is California City. California City is the third largest city in the state of California, but it's kind of off the beaten path, about 100 miles northeast of LA, in the middle of the Mojave Desert.
This is actually considered city limits. This is part of California City. We're the third largest land mass in California, so we have very few people, but we have a lot of land.
A lot of land indeed. I've driven for miles in California City trying to tell this story of how it began to where it is today to where it's going in the future.
I'm a realtor here in California City. I sell all over the place. I sell in Tehachapi, Rosamond, Boron, North Edwards, any of those places, including Cal City. Cal City is my main focus.
I'm Jeannie O'Laughlin, and I'm the mayor of California City. We want people to know who we are, because a lot of times when you say California City, people think that means a city in California. They don't realize that we are a city named California City. So we want people to know that we're here, but we want to have something to offer them as well.
The ghost town stories and all that stuff, all the podcasts out there. And it's really sad that they can't kind of get it right. We are the town that survived a really rocky beginning.
And a rocky beginning it was. Nat Mendelsohn founded the city in 1965. His dream, to build a city to rival LA, a city that could hold a population of 1 million people. And thousands of people bought into his vision as an investment.
Hey, Cody, how you doing?
Shannon Starkey plays a vital role in telling this story. To me, he is the expert on Cal City. Spending years researching, he's actually in the process of writing a book over it.
In kind of like brass tacks terms, California City is only kind of known in any sort of popular way because it's technically the third largest city in California geographically.
So we've established the third largest city in the state of California, but it also stacks up in the top 40 when it comes to the largest US cities by area.
People kind of stumble onto it in various ways because it has a kind of surreal atmosphere, because a lot of the road network was built, and that was like a very a kind of requirement to sell all of the land.
The roads can be seen for miles, cul-de-sacs in place, street signs planted, and fire hydrants put into place.
When you see images of it, they're very kind of shocking because it looks like a kind of ghost town.
He always wanted to build a city, and he studied the economy and how people moved, and he became an expert on how people moved.
This is Pat Gordon. She was the first person I talked to about Cal City because she was actually one of the first to settle here.
He felt like they were going to spill over into the Antelope Valley. A lot of people spilled over what?
A lot of people didn't spill over like he thought.
No, it didn't happen. He even said before he passed away, it was probably 20 years before it was necessary.
His dream could have actually been right on, a city to help the overspill from the valley. The issue was his approach.
You can kind of paint the story pretty simply, which is like, okay, you buy a big plot of land, you chop it up, you subdivide it, a developer comes in, they kind of build all these homes, they sell those homes, a community is established, and then like as that community grows, they start to coalesce around the kind of formation of, like a town. And what happens in California City is really strange because Nat Mendelsohn, the original developer, he kind of skipped over the housing part.
The Land of Magic was how it was advertised. Nat painted a picture of the city that could be. Architects would mock up a state-of-the-art city hall. You would have large neighborhood streets for families and kids to run. And a central park would be the center of it all.
Kind of designing architecture but not building it, and then using that to sell all of this land with the idea that these people would come and build their own homes and build this community. And so as a kind of alternative to building the home and selling that, he built like the lavish public facilities. As a kind of selling point to say, like, here is a thriving community, except there was no one there.
A thriving community that was only just a dream.
Well, in 2016, I took the job as a finance director here at the city. So I started right at the beginning of the legalization of the cannabis. And as I also was the chair that interviewed all of the applicants. So as I saw what the potential was, I told my husband, we really need to move out there. Prices are going to go up. It's going to be really exciting.
Now, California City is a city, and some would describe it as the city that survived a rocky beginning, because it did.
Someone just sent me an article that, I don't remember who put it out this morning, and that California City is the worst city in California. And I was reading through it, and one of the things that they said is there's no industry base here, so our unemployment rate is pretty high.
I'm Raj Millian. I'm a businessman in California City.
So while working on this story, I discovered a new vision, a new dream for the future, and that's the cannabis industry.
It's not only an industry, but it's also the right business, the right time, the right people. So fortunately, California City is one of them in California that has recognized cannabis as an industry that can help a bankrupt city, a city that's losing money, losing city personnel because of lack of funding.
It's an industry that I really like having here, as opposed to an industry that would cause pollution or, cause a lot of traffic.
There's going to be over close to 1 million square foot of cultivation coming that's being worked on right now.
This is what's in construction right now for one of my own projects. If you look at that greenhouse there, that's one of the greenhouses that I have engineered for a client, and that is fully operational right now. This is one of the projects that I've consulted for, but you can see all this area that's empty right now, within a matter of months to a matter of years, is going to be full of cannabis businesses here, whether it's cultivation, manufacturing, or distribution.
The remote nature of California City in many ways was one of its greatest strengths. What's so fascinating to me is that, the success of California City is the dream.
We have an airport here in town, and I actually see that when, because I think it will be a when, not an if, but when it's federally legal, I think our airport will be a real asset to the city.
Because I came here with hopeful eyes. When I came to California City, I looked around and I said, wow, this is amazing. This is an amazing city, and I see an opportunity here.
California City was born out of a dream that may have failed some, from having trouble selling certain plots to even having difficulty tracking down investments. But today, the future of Cal City hangs on to a new dream. How does the story end?
It doesn't. We're a never-ending story. We are going to be, I don't ever want to be like LA, but I know that we can be a successful town.
California City is fundamentally based on a future. And so the future can never come, because if the future comes, it's no longer a future. And so that value is always deferred. And California City, we see that what that looks like when it gets pushed to the limit, when the speculation gets so far ahead of reality that it can crack.